Mr. Fortenberry, Nebraska. Gentleman is recognized for 5 minutes.
God. How are you?
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, at the outset, let me stress the importance of managing our complex relationship with China in a manner that honors the transcendent principles that define America's national purpose and our identity. Tonight, President Obama, perhaps as we speak, and President Hu Jintao will toast one another just blocks from here at the White House at an official state dinner. While appropriate for heads of state, we must remember that untold thousands in China continue to suffer horrific tortures for exercising their right to self-expression. Beijing's ruthless treatment of democracy activists and their families, internet freedom advocates, religious minorities, and women and families victimized by a callous policy of coerced abortion and forced sterilization must continue to make us uncomfortable, even as dinner is served. Nobel Prize winner Liu Xiaobo, whose photo is right here, languishes in prison right now as his wife and family members remain under house arrest. And how many more people suffer in silence? People who have disappeared into the vast network of gulags that no human being, much less any animal, should ever have to see or experience. Mr. Speaker, we must continue to press these points to remain deserving of our own identity as a nation founded on freedom of religion, a nation that embraces freedom of speech and justice, and free and fair commerce as worthy foundation for prosperity in future generations. Our China policy should reflect these transcendent and universal principles. On the economic front, nearly $2 trillion of debt and a bilateral trade deficit approaching $300 billion also pose weighty concerns. We must challenge China to abandon its embrace of unbridled mercantilism, which manifests itself in massive subsidies and other trade-distorting practices that contribute to this staggering imbalance. China must know that global responsibility and accountability are inseparable. We must, Mr. Speaker, also look ourselves in the eye and order our own fiscal affairs, revive stagnant manufacturing industries, refurbish our industrial base, and take responsibility for our economic future. We need to look closely at our willingness to place profit over principle and to point the finger of blame at China while perpetuating our own economic dysfunction. With regard to the future of civilization itself, China is modernizing its nuclear arsenal. China is giving cover to North Korea's nuclear program. China trades with Iran, and China has controversial plans to break with international precedent and build nuclear reactors in Pakistan. Just last week, in a show of its ever-expanding projection of power, China tested a new stealth fighter aircraft. What kind of world are our children and our allies in the Pacific standing to inherit? Neither the United States nor China can afford to allow 6 decades of peace and security to slip through our fingers. Mr. Speaker, do I want a good relationship with China? Yes, absolutely. But we have a responsibility to work together to shape our complex relationship with that country, to seek meaningful progress on the tough issues, to acknowledge the positive elements of China's extraordinary culture and past civilization. However, we must do so without shrinking from challenging outright affronts to our principles and whitewashing threats to international security. I yield back.